Hey there, this is Asenjo, and these few KOF 15 videos will be a rundown of character changes for patch 1.32 that went live on May 17th, 2022. We're only reviewing characters we are familiar with, which are the entire Orochi team, Kula, Whip, Elizabeth, and Terry Bogard. But if you're interested in seeing more quality content like this, we'll let you know how to support us at the end of the video so you can see more complete video series. Some of this stuff will go over our head in these patch notes, but we'll try our best to discuss it anyway. Really excited about these changes, so let's get started. In this video, we're going to be checking out Yashiro's changes. First off, in a lot of these patch notes, you'll see overall frames used a good bit. According to a lovable frame nerd I know, aka Fair Cindy, overall frames refers to the frames that make up an entire character action, including startup frames, active frames, and recovery frames. So if you see overall frames reduced in the patch notes, it usually means some combination of the following. The move is starting up quicker, the attack or motion is active for a shorter period of time, and or the recovery is shorter. Yashiro's close standing light punch had overall frames reduced by 1. Better button overall, pre-patch you could only link this in the close standing heavy punch. Now you can even link it with crouching heavy punch, making it for better confirms, strings, and even frame traps. Close standing heavy kick had its distance recognition expanded, meaning you don't have to be point blank for this to activate anymore. Pre-patch, if you weren't right up on someone, you would get far heavy kick, which does whiff on crouchers. Crouching light punch had its overall frames reduced by 1, which we assume makes this button a little bit better, which is nice since you'll be using this a lot anyway. Crouching heavy punch had its hitbox expanded forward during the beginning of its attack, making it easier to hit from further distances and making it even better when you're up close and personal. Combined with the close light punch buff, you can even link crouching heavy punch from 2 light hits away, making it for a mean confirm / frame trap at close distances. Crouching heavy kick is now lower to the ground. It's not low enough to the ground to dodge some projectiles like Chris and Shermie can, but it does seem like his body isn't taking up as much vertical space as it used to. Really happy with these blowback changes. This attack has had its startup frames reduced from 16 to 14 frames. Its overall frames have been reduced by 4, and the distance it travels goes further. All in all, it's faster and travels farther, which is really awesome. Pre-patch, this would usually whiff from 3 or 4 light hits away, but that's not the case anymore. Yashiro's forward light punch command normal, regret bash, on cancels, had its overall frames reduced by 2, meaning it's going to come out a little bit quicker when cancelled mid-string, making it even better for frame traps, and a little bit safer if you don't want to commit to a special cancel. Jumping light punch is looking better with a reduced downward facing hurt box, and its attack hitbox has been expanded downward, meaning if you're above your opponent, the button has more range to make contact, while Yashiro has less range to be hit for trying. Jumping heavy punch had its attack frames increased by 2, making the attack last a little longer and making it a little bit easier to time with your jump-ins. This next one is our favorite change for Yashiro. His jumping heavy punch during a normal jump and hyper jump had its hitbox extended backwards, which means it's a much better cross-up now. You don't have to get that magic pixel distance on standing opponents like with Chris. You can just flip and do it and it works now. Jumping light kick had a hitbox added for the legs, which sounds like a good thing because we assumed he already had one of those attached to him. Now that he has air legs, we're gonna assume this makes contact better. Same with jumping heavy kick, had a hitbox added for the legs, with the hitbox and hurtbox moved downward, giving it more range to make contact and to be hit out of the air from opponents below him. Jumping heavy kick during normal jumps and hyper jumps had its attack frames increased by 1, making the attack last a little bit longer when you're full jumping. This jumping blowback buff is really exciting. Reduce the body hurt box, making it the same hurt box from a normal jump. The attack also had its forward facing hurt box reduced, along with the reduced attack startup from 14 frames to 12. All meaning this attack is going to come out faster and it's going to be harder to punish him for using it with less of his body being hurtful. Heavy punch Missile Might Bash had its combo scaling reduced, yielding more damage for any combo hits that come after it compared to the last patch. With EX Missile Might Bash, all its hits excluding the finishing uppercut had the damage boosted from 20 to 30, with the combo scaling also being reduced, meaning you're going to get more damage overall for starting combos with this move. So all three versions of Upper Duel had some type of interesting change added to them. For Light Punch Upper Duel, the startup now has guard point. The attack startup has been reduced from 7 frames to 6. You can now super cancel the first hit. You had a damage increase for the first hit from 40 to 60. This now moves forward a little bit, and you can no longer super cancel from the second hit, meaning it's easier for you to use this on defense with the startup armor. It's faster, you can capitalize into this with super with this version, where in pre-patch, you got nothing. It's going to do more damage, it moves you forward, making it a little bit easier to hit in some cases, and you can't accidentally throw meter away, since you can't cancel the second hit anymore, which didn't allow for follow-ups pre-patch. With Heavy Punch Upper Duel, its damage for the first hit has been increased from 40 to 60. It now moves you forward a little bit, and the overall frames have been reduced when nulling projectiles. So this move does more damage, travels more, making it a little bit easier to hit, and makes nullifying projectiles more practical, other than showing how much of a tough boy you are by absorbing mystical energy into the void that is Yashiro's pecs. The EX Upper Duel buffs sound awesome and change like everything. It had its guard point expanded downward. The attack startup is reduced from 7 frames to 6. The damage of the third hit has been increased from 40 to 70. And it has increased command priority over Genocide Cutter EX. This is now a truer reversal, since a well-placed low cannot stop this in neutral or on your wake up. They just eat it. This is armor, not invulnerability, so you can still get grabbed. This comes out faster, does more damage, and has more priority than King Genocide Cutter on its best day. With the next changes, it definitely feels like Yashiro's jet counters are going to feel a whole lot better. For all versions of jet counter, the route buffer input window has been increased, which we will assume means you'll have more time to input either follow-up. Light Punch jet counter had its overall frames reduced by 2, which doesn't seem like much, but it went from pre-patch being double minus on block to single minus, meaning you have more room to push offense after a block dash punch, with you having access to a fully armored Upper Duel, Shatter Strike, and delayed jet counter follow-ups. All that's going to make someone want to block more. HP jet counter got a similar treatment, reducing overall frames by 5 and reducing knockback duration by 5 on hit and block, making the move a bit faster with better recovery, being double minus in the last patch to a single minus in this one. The knockback duration change was most likely put there to balance out this recovery change of his. The jet counter still Light Punch Ender can now follow up with an attack when hit in the air, meaning you can now confirm into supers with this jet counter follow-up on airborne opponents. When pre-patch, supers would just straight up whiff. This will let Yashiro net some more damage at the end of his juggles with an extra hit for confirming into supers. With EX Sledgehammer, the projectile invulnerability duration has been increased, the attack startup has been reduced from 31 frames to 28, the overall frames have been reduced by 6, and the push box has been expanded downward, which means it's better at snuffing out projectiles with more projectile invulnerability and a better activation speed, with the push box change making it easier to land without jumping over the opponent if you're too close. These recent changes seem to have given you more options for damage follow-ups after landing this successfully on a grounded person, letting you do more than just EX Upper Duel, letting you follow up now with moves like Light Punch, Missile, Might Bash into Super, which makes this a much scarier move overall. The last change with Final Impact is pretty straightforward but very significant. It moves farther and has projectile invulnerability, giving this move more life outside of combos, letting Yashiro have another way to deal with projectile zoning. This also means you have to time this super more carefully after launching specials because it's going to miss easier. Overall, Yashiro just feels way more fun and comfortable to play. Most of his good buttons got better, tweaks to specials, have given new life and purpose to a chunk of his move list, opening up new options and combo routes. With his EX Upper Duel now feeling like a real reversal along with an anti-zone super, tough boys are eating good today. That's going to be it for this video on character updates for Yashiro. Big thank you for all of those of you that took the time to check this out. If you want to see more character patch reviews, make sure to check out our Ko-Fi and support us any way that you can. If the community can help us hit parts of our donation goals, we'll make more of these and hopefully we'll get through the whole cast. Just remember, videos like these take a lot of time for us to make, and I gotta eat. We've been working on comprehensive character tutorials for every aspect of the Orochi team, including info on each button, each move, general strats, the works. If this is something that interests you, stay tuned. Those are going to be done soon. If you're feeling the content you're seeing, we appreciate any support that comes our way, so share it with your KOF friends if it was helpful. The more support we get, the longer we can make content like this. If you ever need to hit us up, you can do so through Discord and Twitch, and eventually Twitter, but I'm afraid of that website, so I don't use it that much. Hope everyone enjoys the game changes.